Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is March 27th, 2023. It's on Monday and sunny outside. How are you spending Monday? I guess many people don't like Monday because Monday is the first day of the week for most people. But it depends on the working shift or school schedule. Some people have day off on Monday too. It depends on the working or school schedule. I don't like ruin my life by doing what I'm not interested in. I don't wanna ruin my life by doing what I'm not interested in. Many events were ruined by the pandemic. Actually, in effect, many events were ruined by pandemic. Many events were ruined by pandemic. Many events were ruined by pandemic. Don't let your dreams ruined by others' opinions. Don't let your dreams ruined. Don't let your dreams be ruined by caring what other people say. Don't let your dreams be ruined by caring opinions from others. I don't want you to ruin your dreams. I don't want you to ruin your dreams. I don't want everybody to ruin my dreams. I wouldn't like others to ruin my dreams. I wouldn't like others to ruin my dreams. If the company aims at increasing the profit only, it will ruin soon. It will ruin soon. If a company aims at increasing the profits only, it will ruin soon. Everything might ruin with time. The friendship will not ruin as long as you remember. As long as we remember. The memory will not ruin as long as we remember. The legend will not be forgotten as long as we remember. The big company being said to be perfect can ruin too. We cannot tell what will happen in the future. We cannot tell what will happen in the future. There is no telling what will happen in the future. There is no telling, there is no knowing what will happen in the future. A company which is said to be perfect can also ruin. We cannot tell what will happen in the future. Our friendship will not ruin. Our friendship will not ruin. Although he said our friendship would not ruin, it ruined recently. Although he promised that our friendship will not ruin, but it ruined recently. Everyone thought that the mega company would not ruin. No one could imagine the big company ruin. No one could imagine the big company ruin. No one could imagine the mega company ruin. No one could imagine that the mega company would ruin in 10 years. No one could predict that the mega bank would ruin in 10 years. No one could imagine that mega bank would ruin in 10 years at that time. The period ruined 300 years ago. The period ruined about 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 150 years ago. Popularity might ruin with time. Popularity might ruin with time. Mega company, which is said not to ruin, can also ruin in the future. Mega company with lots of profits can ruin. So we cannot be for sure. We cannot be for certain. Mega company with lots of profits and credibility can also ruin. Do you like to see ruins of the castle of a historical importance? Do you like to see the ruins of old buildings? Unhealthy lifestyle will accelerate the way to the ruin of our body. Unhealthy lifestyle will accelerate the speed leading us to ruin. The notorious policy of the company made by the CEO led the company to the ruin immediately, soon. Mass production and consumption might lead the earth to the ruin. Complying with old way of thinking might lead the company to the ruin. Adhering to old, obsolete, behind the times policy or way of thinking might lead the companies to ruin. A series of working overtime led my health to ruin. A series of working overtime at workplace took my health to ruin. A series of working overtime at workplace led my health to ruin. What led the company to the ruin? What led the company to ruin? What led the company to ruin? What led your health to ruin? What led the What led your health to ruin? 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 1868 is the virtual date, is the year of virtual ruin of Edo government. 1868 is the year of virtual ruin of Edo government. The series of corruptions led the celebrity to ruin of his career. The series of scandals and corruptions led the celebrity to ruin of his career. Do you like to see ruins of old buildings? Do you like to visit old buildings? Do you like to visit ruins of old buildings? Do you like to appreciate old buildings? Do you like to visit ruins of old buildings, such as castle, temple, shrines, and so on? I had a chance to visit. I had a chance to take a visit of ruins of the castle. I took a tour of the ruins of the remote island where vibrant life was created before. I took a tour of the ruins of the remote island where vibrant life used to be created. The newly elected CEO recovered the once ruined company. Ruined industry can recover so much drastically. Ruined industry can recover suddenly. Ruined industry can recover suddenly. It will take time to recover from my ruined unhealthy style. It will take time to recover from my ruined body. It will take time to recover from the ruined condition of my body. It will take time to recover from the ruined condition. It will take time for me to recover from the ruined condition. It will take time for me to recover from the ruined condition. Ruined condition. Once ruined city. Once ruined period, era, administration. Once ruined video games or other things can get high popularity later. Once ruined popularity, once ruined boom can get high popularity again later. Once ruined popularity can get the popularity back later in the future. Once ruined popularity of a thing, for example, video game, can get the popularity back later in the future. The newly elected CEO got back the profit and reputation from the ruined condition. The newly inaugurated CEO retrieved the popularity and credibility of the company from the ruined situation. 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 I try to catch up with the academic accomplishments in the classroom after ruined condition at the hospital. I was trying to catch up with the academic accomplishments at the class after being hospitalized. After I had been hospitalized, I was trying to catch up with the academic level with other classmates after having been hospitalized. We need hope to struggle with difficulties. We need a hope or something like that to struggle with difficulties in order to recover. in order to do our best, so as to do our best. The calling from my teacher worked as an encouragement for me to do my best from the ruined condition. The message call from my teacher worked as an encouragement for me to recover from the ruined situation. Upper grade students tended to monopolize the ground during the resting time. I wish I could monopolize talking with her. One of the benefits living in countryside is that we can sometimes monopolize the facility because there is no one around me sometimes. And since there was no other students, I could monopolize talking with the teacher. Since there were no other customers, I could monopolize enjoying onsen alone. Virtually, some industries were monopolized by mega companies. Virtually, in effect, some mega companies are making a monopoly of some industries. Executives are making a monopoly of most of the benefits of the company. Executives are making a monopoly of most of the profits of the company. The salary should be distributed fairly. I wish I could make a monopoly of the talking with her. The runner was making a monopoly of the first for about 5 minutes, but at the last minute, the second running behind the first came in first at the last minute. The seller at the auction gave the monopoly of the buying to the buyer. Monopoly, 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 monopoly. The upper grade students were making a monopoly of the grounds during the resting time, and lower grade students could not use the grounds, so the teacher intervened to make the students use the grounds fairly. The upper grade students were making a monopoly of the grounds, so the teachers intervened to make the students use the grounds fairly. The lounge of the hotel was made a monopoly of by habitual guests. The lounge of a guest house tends to be made a monopoly of by habitual guests. The lounge of the guest house was made a monopoly of by habitual guests. The lounge of the guest house was made a monopoly of by a long-staying guest. The lounge of the guest house was made a monopoly of by long-staying guests. The lounge of the guest house was made a monopoly of by long-staying guests. Have you heard of a guest house or a hostel? Have you stayed guest houses? Have you ever stayed in a guest house or a hostel? Have you ever utilized Airbnb? Have you ever used Airbnb? Have you stayed in a guest house or a hostel? Have you stayed in a guest house or a hostel? Have you stayed in a guest house or a hostel? Have you heard of the monopoly prohibition law? The monopoly prohibition law. There is a law called the monopoly prohibition law to have a fair business, to distribute the benefit fairly, to distribute the benefit fairly, to distribute the benefit fairly, to distribute the fairly, to distribute the benefit fairly, to distribute the benefit, to distribute the benefit fairly. The monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law is adapted to distribute the benefit fairly, to prevent a company to monopolize the benefit. The monopoly prohibition law is adapted in order to prevent one company from monopolizing the benefit. The monopoly prohibition law. But in effect, virtually, some companies are making a monopoly of some benefits from goods. The monopoly prohibition law. Some companies might have the risk of violating the monopoly prohibition law. Some companies might have the risk of violating the monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. the monopoly prohibition law. Some companies in the world might have the risk of violating the monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. Have you heard of the monopoly prohibition law? Have you heard of the monopoly prohibition law? Monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. The monopoly prohibition law. Monopolization, 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 monopolization. I got the permission of the monopolization of using the facility alone. I could get the permission of the monopolization of using the onsen facility alone. The researcher got the permission to keep researching 24/7. Monopolization interview with a soccer player. The monopolization interview with a superstar. Monopolization. The controversial monopolization of the ground by upper grade students was discussed at the meeting in the school by teachers. The controversial monopolization of the ground by upper grade students will be discussed among the teachers today. The controversial monopolization of the ground by upper grade students of the school will be discussed at the meeting today. The teachers are discussing the controversial monopolization of the ground by upper grade students of the school. Monopolization, 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 monopolization. I'm nothing but a small creature in the universe. I'm nothing but such a small creature in the universe. Money is nothing but a tool to exchange with goods. Money is nothing but a tool created by human beings, mankind, humanity. Money is nothing but a tool created by humanity. Money is nothing but a tool to exchange with goods. Money is nothing but an illusion. I'm nothing but a human. I'm nothing but a human. The architect said, smartphone is a device. Smartphone is nothing but a device without affection. The architect said, the smartphone was a device, was nothing but a device without affection. The architect said that the smartphone was nothing but a device without affection. I've been studying English ever since I was 11. I've been studying English ever since I was 11 or 12. I'm a fan of the music band ever since I was 12. I haven't changed my mind ever since I decided. I haven't changed my mind ever since I decided. She may well be surprised at the idea. Everybody might be surprised at my idea because it is 100% deviated from the common sense. She may well reject the offer. She may well resign. The employee might well resign from the office. The number of tourists may well outnumber the prediction. The number of tourists might well outnumber the prediction. The meeting may well be delayed. The meeting might be extended. The meeting may be extended. The meeting might be extended. The meeting might be extended. The meeting may be extended. I may, to tell the truth, I may as well study at home as take part in the party. To tell you the truth, I prefer to study at home than to participate in the party. To tell the truth, I may as well study at home as take part in the party. You'd better apologize to him now, before the things get worse. You better off apologizing to her. You better off apologizing to her before things get worse. You are better off apologizing to her. You are better off apologizing to her. You are better off apologizing to her before things get worse. You may as well apologize to her before things get worse. Before the situation gets worse. Before the situation gets worse. You had better apologize to her. You may as well apologize to the boss before the situation gets worse. You might as well apologize to the boss before the things get worse. Before the things get worse. You may as well go for it now. Before things get too late. Before things to get too late. You may as well do it now. Right now. Before things get too late. The situation has been in chaos since last week. We've just got out of the chaos recently. Thanks to your help, I could get out of the chaos. Thanks to your help, I could get out of the chaos. Thanks to your help and everybody pitching in, I could get out of the chaos. The district has been chaotic since last week. Chaotic, super busy schedule is waiting for me in April. Chaotic fiscal year in April is waiting for me. Chaotic, super busy schedule is waiting for me. Chaotic week is waiting for me. Chaotic week is waiting for me. Chaotic super busy week is waiting for me. I hope I can get it over. I hope I can get through it. I hope I can overcome it. I don't wanna chaotic situation. I'd like to escape from chaotic situation. In order to avoid chaotic situation, we can be prepared to a certain extent, to some degrees, to some extent. Guess what? Guess who I voted for? Guess when I am going to the country. Guess who I will vote for? Guess whom I will vote for? Guess whom I will go to the party with? Guess who I married? Guess who I will marry? Excuse me, I cannot hear you well. The line is busy. I guess so. I guess so. I guess so. Please guess the answer. Please guess the answer. Guess the answer. Please guess the answer. Please guess the answer. Guess the answer. Please guess the answer. Guess what? Guess what? I brought something special, surprise for you. I brought something special for you. We have a special surprise tonight. It's nothing but a guess. It's nothing but a guess. It's none other than 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 a guess. Sleeping too much is no more healthy than eating too much. Having a rest regularly is not as important than eating vegetables. Guess where I will stay. Guess when I will go to the concert. Guess when I will go to the concert. Guess which I bought. Guess which I bought. Guess what color I chose. Guess what color I like. I guess so. I guess I failed in the examination. I guess I failed in the examination. I failed in the examination. I guess I failed in the examination. I failed in the examination. I guess I succeeded in the examination. I guess I've already won the championship. I guess I've passed. I guess I've passed. It's nothing but a guess. 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 Guess. It's none other than a 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 guess. Do you sometimes resort to guesswork? Do you turn to guesswork? Do you rely on guesswork? I remember often relying on guesswork when difficult questions I cannot understand at all appeared on the examinations. I remember frequently resorting to guesswork whenever I was confronted with super difficult questions I couldn't make heads or tails of at all in the examination. I remember frequently turning to guesswork whenever I was confronted with difficult questions I couldn't understand, I couldn't figure out, I couldn't comprehend, I couldn't apprehend, I couldn't make heads or tails of at all. I know which was not good. Guesswork. Guesswork. Do you rely on guesswork? Is it a guesswork or a correct answer? Is it a correct answer or your guesswork? Is the result based on truth and evidence or your guesswork? Is it answer guesswork or true based on something reliable? Is it answer true based on something reliable or guesswork? Rely on. I used to rely on guesswork. I think I relied on turn to counted on guesswork on 50% of the questions. Guesswork. Don't make the situation even worse. The grave situation was made worse. The grave situation was made to be worse. The grave situation was made to be worse. The situation is graver than we expected. The situation of my health condition is graver than I thought. The painful on my teeth. The painful on my tooth was graver than I thought, so I rushed to the dental office. We are in a grave situation. We entered such a grave phase of the operation. The tension between the two countries entered the gravest phase. The presidential election entered the most gravest phase. Final phase of the game. We enter the final phase of the game. The project has entered the grave phase. No one wants to be held for grave responsibility. No one wants to be held for grave responsibility. Do you know how grave the responsibility is? Do you know how grave the situation is? Grave responsibility. Grave responsibility. Do you know how grave, huge the responsibility is? Grave responsibility. Grave responsibility. Grave responsibility. How often do you visit your grave, your ancestor's grave? How often do you visit your ancestor's grave? How often do you visit your ancestor's grave? Grave. Listen to me gravely. My teacher looked at 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 me gravely. I remember being scolded by teacher face to face gravely. I remember being scolded by teacher when I was a kid face to face gravely. 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 I remember being scolded by my teacher face to face gravely. Focus on the lecture gravely. Pay attention to the lecture gravely. Pay attention to the lecture gravely. I remember being scolded by my teacher when I was a kid, face to face, gravely, 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 gravely. 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 And some people might study so hard, few days before the examination. Some people study gravely, a few days before the examination, or never, gravely. Gravely. I cannot work on the duty which I am not interested in gravely. I cannot work on the duty gravely, which is not my interest. Gravely. I regret not having studied gravely when I was small. I regret not challenging more things in the past. I regret not challenging more things in the past. If I had challenged more things, I would have more experience now. I would be more experienced now. If I had experienced more things, if I had challenged more things, I would be more experienced now. I would be more experienced now. I regret not having challenged gravely. I regret not having studied. I regret not having studied. I regret not having studied. I regret not having studied gravely. I regret not having studied gravely. I regret not having studied gravely. We regret to inform you that the flight has been cancelled due to inclement weather. We are sorry to say that the flight has been cancelled. We are sorry to inform you that the flight has been cancelled. For that, we would like to give you a coupon, a 20% off coupon, which is available in the airport for your shopping. So we'd like to offer you a coupon, 20% off coupon, which is available in the airport. Do you think life is a series of regret and challenges? Do you think life is a series of challenges and regret? Do you think the life is a series of challenges and regrets? I try to think positively. For example, thanks to the regrets, we can approach the perfection. Thanks to make a mistake and regret. We can approach the success gradually. Without mistakes, we don't know what's wrong, you know? So thanks to the mistakes and regret we made in the past, we can approach the perfection gradually, little by little. We really regret to inform you that the flight has been cancelled. We regret to inform you that all of the rooms in this hotel are occupied. There is no vacant room available right now. We regret to inform you that all of the rooms in this hotel are now occupied. so there is no room available. We regret to inform you that all of the rooms are not available right now. Do you think life is a series of regrets? Do you think life is a series of regrets? Do you think life is a series of regrets? I did many regrets. I did many regrets, which cannot be retreated, which cannot be taken back. Not challenging it now will give you regret. Not challenging it now will give you a regret. If you wait for the perfection before challenging, you will regret it later. If you wait for the perfection, if you wait for you to become perfect before challenging something, you will regret it. If you wait for you to become perfect before challenging something new, you will regret it. Because we can be never perfect. We can be never perfect. We can be never perfect. We can never be perfect. We can be never perfect. We can never become perfect. So we sometimes have to be bold and go for it. Excuse me, are you in haste? Are you in a hurry? Sorry, I couldn't get back to you because I was in haste. I was in a hurry. Sorry, I couldn't get back to you immediately because I was in haste. In haste. In haste. I was in a hurry. I was in a hurry. I was in haste. I was in haste. I was in haste. I was in haste. In haste. I was in haste. I was in a hurry. I usually finish my lunch in haste. I usually finish my lunch in a hurry. I usually finish my lunch in a hurry. I usually finish my lunch in haste. I usually finish my lunch in haste. I don't like to be in haste in the morning, so I usually get up early. Some people are in haste so much in the morning, trying to get to the destination in time. Some salaried workers and students are in haste, in a hurry in the morning, trying to get to the destination in time. Some students or salaried workers are in haste, in a hurry in the morning, trying to get to the destination, such as workplaces or schools, in time. Please make sure all of the 7 documents are enclosed in the envelope. Otherwise, please notify us by the deadline written below. Thank you. Please make certain that you have all of the 7 documents enclosed in the envelope. Please make sure that you have all of the 7 documents enclosed in the envelope. If not, please notify us by the deadline. Thank you for your cooperation. Castles are usually enclosed by accumulated stones and moats, which work in order to prevent enemies from entering. because castles worked as a fortress. Not only Japanese castles worked not only for the fortress but also the framework of the city life, centering the castle. The samurai and townspeople also lived nearby. We've just enclosed all of the documents in the envelope, and we are going to send it to your address, so hopefully you will get it tomorrow. As soon as you get the envelope, please fill out the information and send it back to us. Thank you. How much hectare does the castle has? How big is enclosure? How big is enclosure of the castle? How big is enclosure of the castle? How big is the enclosure of the castle? How big is the enclosure of the castle? How much hectare does the castle have? Does the castle have? If you cannot find the document C in the enclosure, please notify us by the deadline written below. Technical strategic enclosures are usually adapted for the formation of the castle. Strategic and unique enclosures are usually adapted for the formation of the castle. The enclosure of the castle is so huge, and we walk a lot, so please let me know if my walking speed is so fast or so slow. And of course we will have a rest somewhere if you are tired of the walking, so don't hesitate to don't hesitate to tell me. Flammable item was discovered in the envelope and in the enclosure. All of the enclosures are checked by the staff before handing them to the boss. All of the enclosures are checked beforehand in advance before handing them to the boss. The boss told me to outline the discussion. The boss told me to outline the meeting with the client. I'm practicing outlining Ishigaki, the accumulated stones and molds, in preparation for my duty. I was told my boss to outline the content of the meeting. I was told by my boss to outline the content of the meeting with the client. I was told to outline the content of the meeting with the client. In the envelope there is an enclosure outlining the project, outlining the itinerary, outlining the duty you have to do. In the envelope there is an enclosure outlining what you have to do during the duty. Lake Beaver resembles the outline of a musical instrument, biwa. The musical instrument beaver is named after the lake beaver because the shape resembles the outline of a lake beaver. Even the outline of the project has yet to be announced. Even the outline breakdown of the project has yet to be announced. The outline of the plan is to be announced at the meeting today. Today, we will only get the outline of the company at the orientation. Today, we will only get the outline of the policy and what it's doing for the society in the company. Today, we will get only the outline of the duty we are going to do after the practical training. Although some of you already know the outline of the industry, I will give you the detail of how to start the business here. Although some of you might know the outline of the business already, we will give you the detail of how to start the business and production here. The outline of Lake biwa resembles the Japanese traditional musical instrument, biwa. I can't even imagine the outline of the project is like. I cannot imagine how the outline of the project is like. I cannot imagine how the outline of the project is like. I cannot imagine how the outline of the project is like. Since I don't have much time, so please give me the outline of the project. Please give me the outline of how to get to the station. We were just given the outline of the duty today. We will know the detail tomorrow. We got some documents outlining the duty we have to do after practical training. We got some documents outlining the practical training. I cannot even imagine how the outline of the project is like. Even the outline of the relativity is beyond the reach of my imagination, understanding, comprehension, apprehension. I even cannot get the outline of the relativity. We sent the email with some attachments, so please find them. Fill out the attachments. We sent the resume and cover letter with email, so please find them. We sent the formats for the resume and cover letter, so please fill them out and send it back to us. Thank you. Please find the attachments, my resume and cover letter, which are very important, so please leak the information to outsiders. Thank you. Excuse me, I didn't get any attachments from your email. Could you check that, please? Excuse me, I didn't get any attachments with the email. Did you really send attachments? Excuse me, I didn't get any attachments from your email. Could you check that, please? Thank you. If the attachment to the wall is not enough, it will fall. It will fall off. And since the attachment on my luggage was not strong enough, so my name tag fell. And my name tag fell off. My name tag fell off. Since the attachment was not strong enough on my luggage, so my name tag fell off. I sent you the email with 2 attachments, so please find them. They are very important to fill out before the deadline. We sent you the email with 2 attachments, resume format, and cover letter format. Please fill them out and send us back. If the attachment to the envelope is not enough, it might fall. So please be careful. So please attach the paste to the envelope correctly, firmly, solidly. Please attach the paste on the envelope correctly, firmly, solidly, thoroughly, drastically. Would you mind helping me attach the paste in like 5,000 envelopes? So many. Do you mind helping me attach the paste to like 3,000 envelopes? I used to attach some posters of my favorite bands on the wall. I used to attach posters of my favorite bands on the wall. Please attach the name tag on the baggage as soon as you get it. As soon as you get the name tag, please attach it to the luggage in case your luggage should be stolen. For fear that your luggage should be stolen, lest your luggage should be stolen. Would you mind helping me take down the poster attached to the wall? Would you mind helping me take down the posters attached on the wall? Would you mind helping me take down the posters attached on the wall? Would you mind helping me take down the posters on the wall? Would you mind helping me take down the posters attached on the wall? Although everything was new and I didn't feel comfortable in my apartment, I'm attached to it to a certain extent. I'm attached to it to some degrees, to some extent. Although I do not feel comfortable living in the apartment, I feel attached to it to some extent now. Although I do not comfortable living in that apartment at first, I feel accustomed to. I feel familiarized with. I feel familiarized with. I feel familiarized with. I feel accustomed to a certain extent, to some degrees, to some extent. Although I do not comfortable living in this apartment, I'm attached to it to a certain extent, which is strange. Although I do not comfortable, I do not feel it comfortable to live in this apartment. I'm familiarized with it. Familiarized with it. I'm accustomed to it now. I am familiarized with it. I am accustomed to it to a certain extent. I am attached to it. I am attached to it. I am attached to it. I am attached to it to a certain extent. I am attached to it. 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 I am attached to it at a certain extent. To a certain extent, to some degrees, to some extent. Although I do not feel it comfortable to live in this apartment, I am attached to it now. I am attached to it to a certain extent. I am attached to it to a certain extent. I am attached to it to a certain extent. To some degrees, to some extent. Although I do not feel it comfortable to live in this environment, I am attached to it. I am attached to the environment to a certain extent. I am attached to the environment to some extent. I am attached to the environment to a certain extent. To a certain extent. Although I didn't like the employee at first, I am attached to him now, which is strange. Although I don't like the employee at first, I am attached to her now. Although I don't feel it comfortable to write with the pen, now I am attached to it. I was obliged to throw my attached clothes at the airport to make the luggage lighter. Uh, to follow the rules. I was obliged to throw away some of my attached clothes in order to meet the requirement because my luggage was too heavy. I was obliged to throw away some of my attached clothes to meet the requirement of the weight of the luggage because my luggage was too heavy. I was obliged to throw away some of my attached clothes in order to meet the requirement of the weight of the luggage. Would you mind helping me take down attached posters? Would you mind helping me take down the attached posters on the wall? Would you mind helping me take down the attached posters on the wall? Not at all. We are sometimes forced to go out of the department. We start to be accustomed to the environment. We are sometimes forced to go to another department in the company when we start to get accustomed to the environment. We are sometimes forced to go to another department. We are sometimes forced to be transferred to another department in the company when we start to get used to the environment, when we start to be used to the environment, when we start to be attached to it, when we start to be attached to the environment, when we start to be attached to the environment, when we start to be attached to the environment, when we start to be attached to the environment. We are sometimes forced to be transferred to another department in the company when we start to be attached to the environment. We are sometimes forced to be transferred to another department in the company when we start to attach to the environment. We are sometimes forced to be transferred to another department in the company when we start to be attached to the environment. We are sometimes forced to be transferred to another department in the company when we start to be attached to the environment. Would you mind helping me take down the attached posters on the wall? Sure, not at all. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.